This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, yesterday it was all about the big freeze at the G, and we saw that the Melbourne Footy Club got over the line by 4 points.
That was a
big game.
surprise.
Well, before I left, my son Lachlan's gone, Dad, I think it's time to have a bet on the footy today, and I'm not a footy bettor.
Oh, so you've passed that down.
You've never been a footy bettor.
Well, he wasn't allowed to while I was playing.
Yeah.
Were
That
you
surprises
sure?
me you didn't.
Were you sure?
Because back in the day, those rules were a bit of a wink-wink.
Most goals, you know what I'm saying? But on the way there, he said there's talk that there's a flu going through the Collingwood Football Club.
Right.
And there's a number of players under a bit of a cloud for today, but they're going to play. So for that reason, he thought it would be a really good idea.
So he got on Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. So Melbourne ended up winning the game by 4 points. From the game perspective, Brodie Grundy played against Collingwood. Nathan, he was the ruckman at Collingwood for 9 years. Right?
Oh, okay.
They paid him. They signed him on a contract, 7 years, $1 million a season. So $7 million contract. How's that, right? But when he signed his contract, he ended up doing his knee badly and missed the whole season. He came back the next year and he, was just trying to get himself going.
Yeah.
And obviously he didn't have a great year. And they traded him to Melbourne.
Just as he was getting his form back.
Oh, my God. So, wait there.
So great move.
He only fulfilled really 1.5 years of that contract.
So when he was traded, is he still making big money?
Yeah, because Melbourne...
They have to honour the contract.
They have to honour the contract.
I don't mind rucks being paid more because they have to shop at big and tall shops.
Big and tall,
and
high
big
and
and tall
mighty.
shops,
Yeah.
they are... usually a little bit more expensive because you use
they are.
like a metre more
Per
material.
More fabric, yeah.
If we know anything from textile traders.
Yeah. Benny.
Thanks, Benny.
But the thing is, the Collingwood crowd, and as reported, and you would have heard it if you're watching it, they were booing him at times.
It wasn't his choice to leave,
No.
though. They offloaded him.
They offloaded him because they couldn't afford
And now they're booing him because he's playing well against them.
Can I say,
I mean,
that
these
is
are
so
Collingwood
funny.
supporters, so
I know,
you've
but
got
you've
to
gotta know
factor
the
that
script,
in.
you know
I know,
what I mean?
but they're,
So I can
not
understand.
sharp as tools.
Yeah.
It's like I choose to break up with someone, then when I see them out in public, I boo them.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Imagine seeing you, boo.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Anyway, as usual, the big freeze at the G was a success. They raised over $2.3 million, reported at the moment. But
I donated while I was on the plane yesterday because we had Wi-Fi.
Well done, Natalie. That was really good by you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you,
And it's
Shaun.
a tax deduction, so
Yes,
you played
it
that
is.
well before June 30th.
Yeah. Get on board. It's not too late.
The people who were involved going down the slide, which we've seen over the years, with Shaun Burgoyne, former AFL player, Aaron Finch, the cricketer, Eric Banner, Jason Dunstall. Eric Banner was great. Jason Dunstall. Abby Gelmy, who used to be our receptionist
Yes.
at Nova.
She was
Now she's
dressed as Maleficent.
Yep.
She's a Channel 7 personality.
We saw Mick Fanning go down there as the Silver Surfer, Tony Shaw, to name a few. But I want to...
Taylor Harris.
Taylor Harris.
She went down dressed as Sam Kerr,
Yeah.
Yep. Michelle Payne was the one that I was watching as
of course.
Wonder Woman.
And
Yes.
Stevie was the
And
whole.
Stevie was the Hulk. And I don't know. I think Michelle needs to embrace the whole situation better. If you saw her go down, she didn't really... She might have been horrified or whatever, but she was playing a really... I don't know... She was keeping it all in.
Can I just say,
fell into
the
is.
water.
everybody, if
Yeah.
people are thinking Sean's being a bit harsh, he's not. Sean has a history of calling out boring women. Sally Pearson was really the first.
She was.
Sean said she's so boring, she doesn't exist to me.
Well, I just said the indoor plant had more personality than she came in.
Michelle, I think, she doesn't lack personality, but she's a quiet
Yes.
person.
She's
And
not an
like,
extrovert.
if you don't, if you want somebody to be all rah-rah, then don't get Michelle Payne. Do you know what I mean? They got it because she's a big name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she is a
I
big
agree.
name, and she's made history in her sport. It's amazing. But if you want somebody to be all flair and excitement, sliding
get your
into the
Rhonda
cold water,
Birchmore.
Rhonda Birchmore is exactly who you would
Do
choose.
you think that's the first time her name's been said on our station?
100%.
Well, there you go.
100%.
Well done, Wanda Birchmore.
But Michelle, when she went into the water, her facials wasn't excited, didn't look like she was too cold. She was taking the pain on the inside.
There was no emotion attached to it whatsoever.
And I thought, God, she looked really boring, and I'm a big fan of hers, a massive fan of hers. But it just didn't come across well at all. So I did feel
So you're
sorry
criticising the way a woman slid into some cold water.
Absolutely.
Well, more so, he's criticising all boring women. Sean would like, or just when he's around, just pep up a bit. You know what I mean? Like, be a little bit more
You don't have to
interesting.
do it all
for
the
Sean.
time, just when Sean's
Just when
there.
Sean's around, just, come
not too much
at
to ask,
it
is
with
it?
your interesting facts. And
Time to catch up with the Big Pav and see what's been going on over the weekend sport, what's caught his mind, but in particular, I guess, being out there in the junior sport area, Pav, on the weekend. And how did you go?
Shawnee, we went well. I've got to say, for all the parents out there, I'm hearing you about enjoying the long weekend a couple of weeks ago. Was it last weekend now? Where we didn't have too much sport. Plenty of junior sport across the weekend: footy, basketball, soccer, hockey. Got it all done.
That's more sports than you have kids, Pav. That's too many.
They all play a couple, don't they?
I think if I'd be a parent, I'd be going one sport, one interest, not even one sport, one interest.
Well, yeah, that's why people don't like you, Nathan. You run a dictatorship there. I know that's how Shaun and Nat think about how you run things there at Nova.
I know.
Thanks for bringing it up, finally.
One interest.
Speaking of dictatorships, you guys are going to understand what it's like to be Prime Minister later tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes.
Yeah, that's right.
How did you actually score this, seriously?
We kind of just threw it out there and he took the bait.
Well, I said to him that I was angry with him because he's never had us over. And then he countered with that by making it happen, and it was very shocking.
So you basically guilt-tripped him into inviting him?
Not even. It was more the power of suggestion.
Yeah, but the suggestion came and he said, I'd have you over. And then we folled up with the question, remember you said you'd have us over. And I do think that he was kind of backed into a corner at that stage.
I do think
when you're live on air, I mean, you guys do this to me the whole time when I'm in there. It's like, you guys stay on. You stay after the break, won't you, Pav? It's the same thing. You basically said, you invite us over. When you're live on air, you can't back out. So I know your strategy. I know your plan. You agree. I know how you operate.
And it works. Here we are in Canberra.
Matthew Pavlich, of course we're in Canberra right now, and I'm telling you, I could only find 3 of the DVDs you wanted me to find. So is any title going to do? Do you want me to just pick the last 7?
I thought that 4th version was just between you and
I. Do you have any fond memories of Canberra?
Yeah. Pav, when we played here?
Sorry, I did find Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Bone. I'll get that for you.
Yeah, perfect. I can't wait. Make sure, watch for Shawnee on the way home. He'll probably try to take that out of your hand.
You know me well.
I haven't. I think we played one game back there in about 2003, Shaun, at Manuka Oval in
North Melbourne.
Point to the Kangaroos. I think that was about the only trip that I remember going to Canberra. I haven't been there too many times actually. What's Lake Burley Griffin like at the moment? Is it glass?
We can't see it, but we know it's there.
We're going to go for a walk around it very shortly, Pav.
Is it like the old days when we used to travel? So when back in the day we used to room with a teammate. Do you have to room with one of your teammates on this trip, Shaun?
Oh, we're all in one room together.
I tried to room with Nat last night, but she wasn't interested.
That's not called rooming.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit different, Shaun. Yeah.
So hang on, does that mean you get your own room?
No, yeah. It's not the best, Pav. We talked about it earlier on this morning. I walked in and it was boiling hot, right? So the heating was up because it's Canberra. And then I went to turn it cooler, and then it just got hotter. So then they had to get someone over to fix it. And then during that time, I thought, well, I might see if I can crack open a balcony door. It's not a balcony because I'm on the ground floor. So I've walked over there and I've opened on the shears. And to my delight, right outside of my window is people having dinner.
And you were wearing
my job.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, they didn't order that.
but I'm sure they wish they did after they saw it.
Yeah.
They sent back that entree.
Yes. Oh, you don't even class yourself a main course. No, that's sad.
I know I'm not a main course. I'm like a little side passer at best.
Now, Pav, let's go back to Saturday for Freo fans at the moment. I know you called this game for Fox, but I was really disappointed in the outcome, not for the fact that I thought Freo's effort was down against Richmond. I just thought their way they went about it as players on the field, overcommitting at times, letting Richmond play their style of game on our very own home ground, which was a frustration.
Yeah, and look, I think people are very frustrated at the moment with that performance. They're the second youngest team on the weekend, and Richmond were the second most experienced, and it actually showed in the way they handled the conditions much better. It was always going to be a bit slippery and obviously lots of showers and wet weather throughout the week, and then that big downpour in the second quarter. Fundamentally, they just got beaten by Richmond at Richmond's game, which was fast movement, surge the ball on, get it out the front. There was plenty of stoppages where Shea Bolton and a number of players would just let out the front of the stoppage. And when that's the case, on a slippery night, you've got 6 on 6 in front of the ball. You don't have to make too much of a mistake for it to be an opportunity to goal. They were brave, as you said, Shawnee. The effort to come back was supreme, and they were almost there in the end. That Ethan Hughes touched or controversial non-decision, if you like, from the umpire, and then the review and everything else, which I think will be continued to be discussed and debated in terms of the edge system, the technology. I think the AFL needs to really look at that. But regardless of that, it was the fact that Freo just weren't good enough on the night. So 6 and 6 from their 12 games. They go to Sydney this weekend to play the Giants, which will be no easy task. They're going okay, the Giants. So I think at the moment it just shows how even the ladder is. So yesterday Melbourne beat Collingwood, and they and Port Adelaide and Brisbane are probably the top 4 teams. But then everyone else, I think there's 2 wins separating 3rd to 12th at the moment. That's how close the competition is, and Freo are in that mix. So an important game this weekend to win. I think they have to have 13 wins, Shawnee, to make the 8. And they've only got 11 games to do that in 6 of those games here in Perth, but it's going to be a challenge for them after that close loss against the Tigers.
Yeah, well, they've lost a few home games already. You need this place to be a fortress, which when the Eagles were up and running, they lost games on the road, but they won every home game. So that's important. And on the Eagles, Pav, is there any talk of any of their players coming back after the bye?
So I think they're hopeful for a couple, but realistically they've got Luke Shuey and Jack Darling back, obviously, were the main 2. Jeremy McGovern probably isn't too far away. I think he's tracking reasonably well. The other one, in terms of longer-term injuries, Liam Ryan and also Jamie Cripps are still probably some time away. Who else? Tom Barris, I think, is probably likely to come back. So they'll certainly get a few, but it's probably... I mean, we showed some footage last night on 9, how just some of the effort, even Eagles skipper Luke Shuey letting Taylor Walker run straight by him, not helping his teammate and Oscar Allen when he was playing on him. So and just some fundamental skill errors from senior players. So, look, yes, they've been decimated by injuries, but you can't just keep losing by 100 points. The effort, and they're just really tired, and it'd be a lonely place right now out at Life Lane, and rightly so, because when you're 300-point losses in the last 7. It's hard. It's hard yakka.
Don't say it out loud, Pav. Just pretend it's
we
not
talked
happening.
about this, statistics and numbers.
Yes, we're not interested.
Eagles fans don't.
We don't like data. We just like find anecdotal evidence rather than evidence.
Yes.
I hear you.
We just go to our safe space and watch the 2018 Grand Final on repeat.
Exactly.
Just on a constant loop.
Oh, that's all you can hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Pav, as we're looking around here at the airport last night, there just seems to be politicians everywhere, people in suits. Did you see that pile of people that we walked past? We'll call it Men in Black.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going into politics? Because I feel like...
you've got that air. You've got a statesman air about you.
It's like the Mr. Sheffields about him. You trust him.
Well, firstly, I appreciate the compliment, but the answer is no, I haven't ever thought that.
Why?
Why? Okay, I'll answer the question by asking you a question. Why? Tell me the reason why I should go in politics.
Well, everybody likes you.
Yeah,
You've already done the Players Association thing, which is kind of like,
no, but that's the reason
you're good at
why
sitting
I
in
might get voted
meetings.
in. It's not a reason why I would actually want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Why would be the reason?
I also think that you care about the community. Am I wrong, or do you?
Do you hate the community?
Do you hate the community that you live
I
within?
definitely don't care about the community. No.
Hey, Pav, you've been called, haven't you? Has a political party ever sort of just asked you the question if you're interested?
No.
That is really interesting. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Because I was,
on the... So this is I remember when someone said, you must have been inundated, when I retired, you must have been inundated with calls about opportunities, great things and great jobs. And I was like, no, I'm calling people. I'm the one that's the calls.
No way.
Wow, that surprises me.
When we all jumped on the plane last night and there was, a lot of people who were involved in political parties and going to see political parties over here, I was thinking David Wirapunda was a massive chance to join the Senate. Years ago.
Well, let's not forget Damien Drum, your old coach.
Oh, yes, mate.
Because
they'll take anyone, Pav, is what we're saying.
Yeah, all due respect to all those people and the opportunities and the politicians that are out there. There's probably been other opportunities, and I was sort of in jest when I said I had to call people. I think there was lots of things that did sort of get thrown at me and whatnot, but there's probably other opportunities in the commercial corporate space that I'm more interested in. But I'm loving what I'm doing also. So, hey guys,
there's that. Sure.
I just think it's a missed opportunity, really. But if you're really not on the side of the people, then there's nothing we can do.
We can't talk you around.
Would you ever become a politician, Nate?
Oh, the choice wouldn't be there. They'd say no.
No, that's right. Have you seen his dark history? There's so many skeletons in that closet.
What about you, Nat?
Unbelievable.
No, you'd be well placed, Nat.
No, I've got,
We don't have meetings.
My great-grandfather was the mayor of East Fremantle. That's as much politics in our family as we need.
Lineage. You've got lineage. You've got history.
Not in a million years. I sat next to a staffer who was reading briefing papers. And I'm like,
God.
No, I couldn't. I was bored looking at her read them. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's fine.
Anyway, we've gotten to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's asked him.
Got important news to do for 9 years.
If I ever was, a politician, I wouldn't be inviting you three over for dinner. So.
I know. We can't believe it either, to be honest.
I'm taking that personally, Pat.
Yeah, that's right.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.